All right, ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to explore something called bufotenine.
Bufotenine?
Have you heard of this one?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. It's this compound found naturally in the human brain,
Oh, wow.
but also
Well,
it's in plants. And even,
Oh,
can you believe that?
that is fascinating. Yeah, I know that bufotenine is actually a neurotransmitter, so it plays a role in how our brain cells communicate.
Yeah, and our listeners are super into natural and sacred medicines, especially the work of Laurent Chenot.
Absolutely.
So we've got some really cool sources today that explore some of the potential benefits of bufotenine, and we even get into some pretty powerful personal experiences.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. I think
Mhm.
it's important to understand, the potential of these natural
For
compounds
sure.
and, maybe even challenge some of the conventional thinking that's out there.
Love it. All right, so let's kick things off with Dr. Lolo. He's a psychiatrist who's pretty enthusiastic about bufotenine, especially when it comes to treating psychotic disorders and addictions.
Yeah, in his letter, Dr. Lalo really highlights those potential therapeutic applications of bufotenine, and he even suggests that it could be a game changer for conditions like schizophrenia.
He even mentions that it could work as an antipsychotic, so it can reduce those really challenging symptoms like hallucinations and delusions. But what's really interesting is that he thinks it could also help with the negative symptoms, like apathy and withdrawal, which are often harder to treat with traditional methods.
Absolutely. And that's a key point because those traditional antipsychotics often focus on the positive symptoms, but being able to address those negative symptoms can really significantly improve a person's quality of life.
Absolutely, and it doesn't stop there. He suggests that bufotenine could impact those crucial neurotransmitters in our brains like dopamine and serotonin.
Right. He believes that bufotenine might help to rebalance these neurochemicals, which could have like a ripple effect on mood and just overall well-being.
And he even suggests it could have anxiolytic and antidepressant properties,
Wow.
which that would be a huge breakthrough for patients dealing with mood disorders, especially those who haven't found relief with traditional treatments.
It's a really exciting prospect for sure. And he also points out that bufotenine might even help people better tolerate traditional antipsychotic medications, which could mean reducing the dosage and minimizing those often difficult side effects.
That's huge. That's a major win.
Absolutely.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
He even brings up the possibility of neuroprotective effects, which could be beneficial in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Wow. While that is a promising area of research,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that more studies are needed to confirm these potential benefits and establish safe and effective treatment protocols before we get too carried away.
Right. We definitely need that scientific rigor, but it's still pretty exciting to consider the possibilities.
Absolutely. It really highlights the importance of, staying open to new ideas and really exploring the full potential of these natural compounds like bufotenine.
Yeah, and Dr. Lolo, he's not just pulling this out of thin air.
Right.
He actually mentions some scientific studies that support his claims.
Interesting.
There's a 2021 study from the Journal of Psychopharmacology that looked at how bufotenine interacts with dopamine and serotonin receptors in the brain.
Okay.
And the findings suggest that this interaction could actually lead to symptom reduction in patients with schizophrenia.
That's a very encouraging study. It provides, some scientific backing for the idea that bufotenine could play a role in managing these challenging symptoms.
Exactly. There's another study from the Journal of Ethnopharmacology published in 2022 by Zhang and his colleagues.
Okay.
And this one delves into bufotenine's potential anxiolytic and antidepressant properties,
Yeah.
further supporting some of Dr. Lolo's claims.
It's so fascinating to see these properties being investigated with more rigor. And while more research is always needed, these initial studies definitely open up some really exciting avenues for future exploration.
And we can't forget about Phytotherapy and Mental Health by Smith and Johnson.
Oh, yes.
This book, published in 2020, features some pretty compelling case studies where bufotenine was used as a complement to traditional antipsychotics.
Okay.
And the results seem to suggest that this combination could potentially lead to better outcomes and fewer side effects for patients.
This speaks to the growing interest in these integrative approaches to psychiatry.
Totally.
Combining those conventional treatments with natural therapies under the guidance of qualified practitioners could offer, more personalized and potentially more effective treatment options for people.
Right. It's all about finding what works best for each individual.
Exactly.
Now, we always like to bring in a diverse range of sources.
Of course.
And this next one is a real attention grabber.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's talk about Mike Tyson and his experience with code venom.
Oh, wow. Here's where it gets really interesting. Tyson's story is so captivating. But it's important to remember that this is a personal account, not a scientific study.
Oh, for sure. Totally.
Mm.
So in an interview on the YouTube channel Impulsive Clips, Tyson describes smoking toad venom and having this absolutely mind-blowing experience. He talks about feeling like he left his body.
He described it as feeling like the sun opened up and the air was just rushing in.
Whoa.
He was so convinced his partner could see it too, even though she couldn't.
Wow. So Tyson says the experience was incredibly intense, but ultimately transformative.
Yeah.
He credits it with helping him confront his inner demons and completely changing his perspective on life.
He even goes as far as say that the experience introduced him to God, which speaks to the deeply spiritual nature of these types of psychedelic experiences.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is.
And while it's just one person's experience, it does make you wonder about the potential of these compounds to facilitate, profound personal shifts.
Absolutely. It's worth noting, though, that what Tyson likely ingested was 5-MeO-DMT,
Okay.
which comes from the Sonoran desert toad.
Interesting.
It's different from bufotenine, but both are psychedelics with potentially strong effects.
Okay, so different compounds, but the theme of personal transformation seems to be a common thread here.
Yeah, I think so.
This brings us to Laurent Chenot and his book, Un Chemin Sacré.
Yes.
He's a strong advocate for the responsible use of sacred medicines, including those containing bufotenine.
Chenot's book really dives into the potential of these medicines for healing and personal transformation, and his own journey is quite compelling.
He was a successful businessman.
Yes, he was, and then he was diagnosed with autism and bipolar disorder and became disillusioned with traditional medicine.
Oh, wow.
And embarked on this journey to find these alternative healing approaches.
He talks about finding a life of happiness and abundance through these sacred medicines. It's a powerful testament to their potential.
Chenot really emphasizes that these medicines are not just drugs, but tools for self-discovery and connecting with a deeper reality.
It's a really important distinction. He sees them as a way to tap into our own inner wisdom and healing potential.
Exactly. And while Chenot's perspective is inspiring, it's always crucial to approach these medicines with caution and respect.
Definitely responsible use and seeking guidance from experienced practitioners are absolutely essential. You can't just go experimenting with powerful substances without proper knowledge and support.
Absolutely. It's about honoring the power of these medicines and using them wisely as part of a holistic approach to well-being. It's really inspiring to see how Chenot's journey unfolded. It just speaks to the power of these medicines to lead people to these profound transformations, even those who, maybe started as skeptics.
It's like he went from this high-powered world of finance to embracing these ancient traditions.
Yeah, quite a contrast.
Totally.
It's a reminder that healing can come from these unexpected places and that, we shouldn't limit ourselves to just one way of thinking.
And Chenot's very open about his own struggles with mental health. He doesn't shy away from discussing his diagnosis of autism and bipolar disorder.
He talks about feeling like he was trapped in this cycle of medication and therapy that wasn't really meeting his needs. He was managing symptoms but not truly thriving.
He describes feeling like a cog in the machine, just going through the motions without a real sense of joy or purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, and that deep dissatisfaction is actually what led him to explore these alternative paths to healing and ultimately led him to the world of sacred medicines.
And it's amazing how his journey highlights that interconnectedness of our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Yeah. Chenot believes these medicines can help us tap into this wisdom that's already within us, a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world.
He's not just advocating for the use of these medicines, he's advocating for like a fundamental shift in perspective.
Right.
A way of seeing the world
Yeah.
that embraces that interconnectedness of all things.
It's a perspective that resonates with a lot of people who are seeking a more meaningful and fulfilling life, one that goes beyond, just managing symptoms.
And it's a perspective that's increasingly being explored by scientists and researchers who are studying the effects of psychedelics on consciousness.
There's this growing body of evidence that suggests that these substances can induce these profound changes in perception, thought, and emotion, leading to experiences that can be, deeply transformative.
It's like opening up a whole new realm of possibilities for healing and self-discovery.
Right. But it's also important to approach these experiences with caution and respect, recognizing that they can be challenging and unpredictable.
Chenot emphasizes the importance of preparation, setting intentions, and integrating those experiences into your everyday life.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring that these experiences aren't just like fleeting moments of insight, but catalysts for lasting personal growth.
Exactly. It's about honoring the sacred nature of these medicines, recognizing their power to heal, teach, and guide us on our paths to wholeness.
One thing that really struck me about Chinat's book is how he doesn't just focus on the individual. He
Yeah.
talks about the importance of community,
Oh, yeah.
connecting with like-minded people who share a similar vision for healing.
He believes we can't do this work alone. We need that support of others who understand the challenges and the rewards of this path.
He found solace and strength in the company of others who had experienced the profound effects of these medicines, people who are also on their own journeys of self-discovery and healing.
It's about creating a space where vulnerability is welcome, authenticity is celebrated, and, individuals can feel safe to explore their inner landscapes without judgment or fear.
He talks about the importance of sharing stories, learning from each other's experiences, and supporting each other through the ups and downs of the journey.
It's a beautiful vision of what's possible when we come together with this shared intention to heal and to grow.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in this quest for meaning and purpose. Now, Shino's clearly passionate about these sacred medicines, but he's also realistic about the challenges of integrating them into our modern society.
He acknowledges that there are valid concerns about safety regulation and the potential for abuse.
He's not advocating for a free-for-all where these substances are readily available to anyone who wants to try them.
Right.
He emphasizes responsible use, education, and guidance from experienced practitioners.
He believes these medicines should be treated with the utmost respect, not as recreational drugs, but as sacred tools for healing and transformation.
And he recognizes the need for a balanced approach that honors both the wisdom of ancient traditions and the insights of modern science.
It's about finding a way to bridge the gap between these two worlds, to create a space where these medicines can be safely and effectively integrated into our healthcare systems.
It's a complex and challenging undertaking, but one that Shino believes is essential for the well-being of humanity. It's a call for collaboration, for open-mindedness, and a willingness to explore new possibilities for healing.
Now, it's important to acknowledge that, Chinat doesn't shy away from the potential challenges of working with these medicines.
Right.
He's very honest about the potential downsides.
He talks about the importance of facing our shadows, confronting those darker aspects of ourselves that these medicines can sometimes bring to the surface.
He describes these encounters as, necessary but often painful parts of the healing process. It's not always easy, but it can be profoundly transformative.
He emphasizes having a strong support system and working with experienced guides who can help navigate those challenging experiences.
It's not about seeking out those difficult experiences for their own sake.
Right.
It's about recognizing that true healing often involves, facing our fears and our traumas.
And it's about understanding that these medicines are not magic bullets. They are tools that can facilitate healing, but ultimately require our active participation and willingness to do the inner work.
It's a powerful reminder that true transformation requires effort, courage, and a commitment to facing ourselves fully.
One of the most fascinating parts of Chinat's book is his emphasis on the spiritual dimension of these sacred medicines.
Yeah.
He goes beyond just the medicinal aspects and really delves into the profound spiritual experiences that they can facilitate.
He describes these medicines as gateways to this deeper reality, a realm of consciousness that transcends our everyday perceptions.
He talks about encountering spiritual entities, having profound insights, and feeling this sense of unity and oneness that's difficult to describe.
It's fascinating how he weaves these spiritual experiences into his narrative. They're not just anecdotes, they're like integral parts of his healing journey.
He sees these experiences as evidence of a deeper reality, a realm of consciousness that's always accessible but often obscured by the noise and distractions of modern life.
It's a perspective that might seem far-fetched to some, but it's deeply rooted in many indigenous cultures, where these medicines have been used for centuries.
And this perspective is gaining more attention as scientists and researchers study the effects of psychedelics on consciousness.
There's a growing body of research suggesting that these substances can induce profound alterations in perception, thought, and emotion, leading to experiences that can be deeply transformative.
And while the scientific understanding of these experiences is still in its infancy, Shino's accounts offer a glimpse into the vast potential of these medicines to expand our awareness and connect us with something greater than ourselves.
It's an invitation to explore the mysteries of consciousness, to step beyond the confines of our limited perceptions, and embrace the vastness of what's possible.
And it's an invitation to proceed with caution, recognizing that these journeys can be challenging and unpredictable. It's almost like Shino is encouraging us to kind of redefine what healing can look like.
Absolutely. It's not always about eliminating symptoms. It can also be about expanding our consciousness and connecting with, something larger than ourselves.
Now, we can't talk about sacred medicines without acknowledging those ethical considerations.
Right.
Shanat dedicates a big chunk of his book to this.
Yeah, he brings up some really important points about cultural appropriation and exploitation, especially concerning the use of these medicines in Western societies.
He's a strong advocate for respecting those indigenous cultures and traditions, recognizing that, these medicines come from a long and sacred history.
He criticizes the commodification of these medicines, the way they're sometimes reduced to products to be bought and sold without regard for their, cultural significance.
It's like he's calling for a more respectful and reciprocal relationship with indigenous communities,
Yeah.
honoring their knowledge and their right to protect their traditions.
He also emphasizes sustainability, making sure the harvesting and use of these medicines are done in a way that, doesn't harm the environment.
Right, it's all connected.
It is.
It's about approaching these medicines with reverence and gratitude,
Yeah.
recognizing them as gifts from the earth,
Yeah.
that should be treated with care and respect.
And that respect extends to the integration process as well.
Oh, yeah.
Janot really stresses the importance of this step.
For sure.
It's not enough to just have these profound experiences. We need to find ways to, incorporate the insights and lessons into our daily lives.
He talks about grounding those experiences through practices like meditation, journaling, or simply being more mindful of, our thoughts and actions. It's about creating a sustainable practice,
Right.
a way of living that's informed by the wisdom that we've gained.
Janot believes that this ongoing process of integration is key to unlocking the true transformative potential of these medicines.
One thing that really shines through in Shanan's book is his unwavering belief in the power of these medicines to change lives.
He shares so many stories of people who've experienced profound healing and personal growth through their use.
He talks about people overcoming addiction, healing from trauma, and finding a deep sense of purpose and meaning in their lives.
And he doesn't present these stories as mere anecdotes,
Right.
but as powerful testaments to the transformative potential of these medicines when used responsibly and intentionally.
And while he acknowledges that these medicines are not for everyone, he believes they hold immense promise for addressing some of the biggest challenges we face today, from mental health to our relationship with the planet.
It's a bold and hopeful vision, one that encourages us to kind of rethink our assumptions about healing consciousness and, the nature of reality itself.
It's about opening ourselves up to new possibilities and recognizing that, the answers might lie in places we haven't even considered.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Bufo and sacred medicines, we hope you're feeling inspired to continue your own exploration.
Yes, definitely.
Remember, true knowledge comes from, ongoing inquiry and discovery.
Don't be afraid to delve deeper into those sources that resonate with you.
Ask questions, challenge assumptions.
And most importantly, stay curious.
The world of healing and transformation is vast and ever-evolving, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover insights that change your understanding of yourself and the world around you.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those minds open.